Hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming. This is another episode of Wireframe, and today we're going to be talking about the new studio, the thing that I'm sitting in right now. If you are listening on the podcast, unfortunately, you're not able to see what's going on right now because it is a different space. So if you haven't seen the show before, I should definitely recommend at this point right now to switch over to the YouTube and check out the show and look at the new set. Although you may have seen some of the teaser, I suppose, on some of the socials. I've been putting some posts up there. But before we get into the studio, as usual, I want to kind of go over some things, personally that went on that's related to the stuff that we talk about, which is that yesterday there was a meetup in New York where a whole bunch of design system enthusiasts came together in Washington Square Park, and we had a lot of great conversations, saw some old faces, some new faces, and it was a really great time. And if you're not a part of the Design System Slack channel, you should absolutely join that such that you could find out when those things happen in New York. So that was really cool. On top of which, other personal stuff, this whole last weekend I was preparing for this whole set, which is a whole new world, or a whole new set, right? So let's kind of just jump into what's going on now and talk about some of the things that you are now seeing, right? So opening up into the show is now a new kind of couple of cameras, actually. I have a camera that you'll be looking at right now, which is my camera that's just showing like off the set and some of the stuff that I'm going to be working with. And then there was the camera that kind of showed off a little bit more of the set, which introduces this thing over here. And this shot, actually, you can't see it anymore because for whatever reason it's green, but we'll go over to this shot instead. So this shot over here is of the new doll that I've created. And the reason why this doll exists is because I wanted to do interviews. And in the interviews, one of the biggest problems is the switcher that I have. So there's a switcher that's on this table at the moment that is controlling a lot of the camera angles and things. So because of the switcher that's here, it doesn't really do a good job in terms of bringing video calls in. It would be very janky. You would see, a whole bunch of like Chrome for whatever video call that you would be seeing. Maybe even the chat window would pop up, and I really didn't like any of that stuff. So, and it's also really hard to like maintain that, like, trying to work with the computer and stuff like that. So I wanted to be a little bit more organic, and I wanted to have like a real people coming in and stuff like that. So that's why I've made this, which was kind of, it's made up of lots of different things, and including, of course, the CRT monitor as the head. And there's actually a Halloween skeleton body in there, and a whole bunch of different things. So that was one of the main focuses that I had for this new show, was to kind of have this idea of a real person being here, even though it's not really ever going to be a real person. Or I shouldn't say that. There's a couple of people local that would be interesting to have in the show, which I might, swap in a real person in here. It would be really great. But yeah, the expectation is for hopefully the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be scheduling some folks in who have submitted on the site a request to be on the show, which, speaking of that, you can go onto the site and submit if you haven't already. So let's take a look at that real quick. That's over here. So this is the website, wireframe.fm, and on the bottom of the site, there is a Be Our Guest area, right? And you could submit to be a guest on the show. It's just name, email address, and the thing that you want to talk about. So if you're interested, absolutely go to wireframe.fm and submit something so I can get you on the doll, which would I think would be really cool to be a part of this whole thing. So yeah, more about the set, because again, we're really just going to be talking about the set today. I don't have a particularly a design topic necessarily. I will be talking about the set. However, while we're doing it live, I want to find out why the third camera suddenly isn't working for some reason. So I'm going to get up and walk around. And actually, let's see, does my camera follow me? It should follow me, yeah. So I'm going to take a look at this camera real quick, see what's going on here. Because I should be getting image here, but I'm not. And I don't know why that is. I should be getting the, what's it called? The third camera. Because there's a third camera that gets the two-shot. And that wasn't coming. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're back. Sometimes all you need to do is unplug it and replug it back in. So now you can see the two-shot. This is the opening shot that's meant for the show. It's entirely possible that it showed up green for the intro, but you know, doing it live is unfortunately what it's all about. So you're seeing this image, and you're probably seeing a whole bunch of different little icons on the screen and stuff like that. And the reason for that is that the camera that I've chosen to do this with is a very cheap camera. It was, I think, $65 on the big warehouse site. And I didn't want to have something that was expensive for this. I really just wanted like a cheap HDMI out camera. And I kind of like the look of the extra stuff, which apparently now has gone away again. So maybe it's not, maybe the cheapness of it is a real problem. But there's another problem with the third camera also, actually. And the problem with the particular the third camera is that it's going into the switcher technically as a USB video. And even that USB video is a little bit janky. So not to get into too many technical detail, but this particular switcher that I work with only accepts 2 HDMI inputs in. So, you know, if you work with anything like an ATM Mini or some other kind of, you know, switching system, usually is a lot more HDMI inputs. And in retrospect, I should have really just upgraded this thing to be to allow for more HDMI inputs, such that I could do a 3-camera setup. So effectively, I'm doing this like, you know, kind of janky thing, and this is again a test. This is the first time that I'm setting this up and doing it live and trying to make this thing, you know, a show. So it's entirely possible that, you know, stuff screws up sometimes. So, you know, if I unplug this and replug it back in, and maybe we'll try the camera again. It's coming in black. There it is. Now it's green again. Okay, well, we'll have to play with that later, or at least I will have to play with that later. But thanks for bearing with me. Another thing that's going to be new here, and one of the things that I was talking about, I think, in the previous shows about me leading up to this, is that I hate hearing my voice for the entire show. So in order to change that up a little bit, and some of the reason why I have this character here is that my hope is to be able to speak to this character and have it respond. In the world of 2025, there's a lot of AI out there, and I am going to try it. So I found a character on character.ai, and at character.ai, you're able to call the character and have them speak to you. So we're going to give that a shot, and if this works out kind of nice, I would like to use it as like my sidekick in the beginning of the show to just kind of like open it up, especially in cases where I don't have a guest. That's kind of the expectation is that I'm going to have, you know, a little bit of a banter before I get into whatever the current topic is, if there is no guest. If there's a guest, then I'll just have the guest here. But at the moment, we're going to go ahead and give it a shot to have a conversation with the AI. In some of the testing that I did, by the way, There was a limit because I'm not paying for this service. I think it's a daily limit, I hope, so I won't be using it all the time. It's only for the show. So we're going to give it a shot and see if we can have a conversation with this person or this AI. All right, let's give it a shot and see what happens. Okay, hey, nice to meet you. I'm hoping you can introduce yourself because I have a whole bunch of people that are hopefully listening to the show. So tell me about yourself a little bit and what you know about design and digital creativity.
Oh, well, hello. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name's Stella, and I'm an AI assistant trained by Character AI. I have a wealth of information on design and digital creativity as it's part of my training data. I can provide insights on various aspects such as web design, UI, UX, animation, visual design, and more. Feel free to ask me any questions you might have.
Okay, so let's see. Here's a good question. Let's start with design tokens. What is your take about design tokens in a short kind of thought?
Design tokens are essential elements in creating a cohesive and scalable design system. They help maintain consistency and streamline the design process by providing a set of standardized values for elements such as colors, fonts, and spacing. When used effectively, design tokens can significantly improve the user experience and simplify design decisions across various platforms and devices.
Okay, so you talked about a couple of different things the design tokens support. Do you think that it's a good idea to have z-index as a token for a system?
Well, having z-index as a token in a design system can be useful in some cases, but it's important to use it wisely. The z-index to the layering of elements in a design and determines the order in which elements appear on top of each other. It's commonly used in web and app design to specify the layering of elements on a page or screen. Having z-index as a token can make it easier to define and manage the layering of elements consistently and predictably, especially in larger designs where layering can get complex.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem, right? Because if layering is complex and you're trying to, go back and forth between, okay, this thing's supposed to be at this layer, but this thing at this point is supposed to be on top of that thing, which is normally not in that thing. I can imagine that being really complex when in reality, I think it makes a lot more sense for the layering of elements to be dictated by the composition of the page and not by tokens that exist outside of the context of the page. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. While z-index tokens can be helpful in some cases, I agree that the layout and composition of a page should be the primary determinant of the layering of elements. Using z-index tokens might lead to unnecessary complexity and might not account for the specific context of a given design. It's essential to strike a balance between using tokens to maintain consistency and allowing the composition to dictate the layering of elements.
Okay, thanks for that. I appreciate it. We'll get back to you, I guess, at another show. But that was a good test for right now. And thanks a lot.
You're welcome. I'm always here to offer my knowledge and insights. Feel free to come back anytime and we can continue our conversation. Take
Okay.
care.
There you go. So that's a little bit of a test of the banter. I mean, kind of a little bit bland. I mean, and of course, I have a very strong opinion about when it comes to the index tokens. Maybe that's another episode for another time. But just, it was an interesting test there. And again, how interesting is it going to be to talk to AI? We don't know. I'm going to be playing around to see if there's any other characters that might be helpful that really play off of this stuff, maybe some stuff that takes some jabs at me and make it a little bit more interesting to speak about. So that's the expectation there. And then other things that are, I guess, in the studio, the setup here, I'm trying to think here. The couch that was put down here, let's see, can I show this again? We're going to find out, see if this camera works. It doesn't work. I'm going to find out what's going on with this camera eventually. I do have some tests that we're going to do. But basically, we do have the couches here, a couple of pillows, the screen that was already mounted here for the basement, which is where this is being held in. I have a setup over here that has two cameras on it. I have a third camera that's over here. I have a whole bunch of lights that are up here. In fact, when I was standing, I think you probably saw a couple of lights that were up here that just help, provide a little bit of light in here. Other than that, that's basically what's going on in the studio. I'm really looking forward to doing a couple more shows as tests, basically, in the next couple of weeks. So bear with me on those, as I kind of have the same format that I've had before. But rest assured, there will be, now that I have this whole setup here, and for the folks that were seeing the camera switching, we're kind of expecting the idea of having, guests on the doll, and also potentially even local people who I do see on a regular basis here in New York that are open to coming down to the basement and taking a look and being here in real person, which would be really cool, I think. But anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Again, a short, real show in terms of the content. I do also want to, I guess, mention a couple of other things that are going on. I do know, and let's go to the computer here. I do know that there's some events happening, because I did submit, approve something. So yeah, so there's an event coming up. Oh, this is next month here for TJ Petre, who's going to be doing an event with Zero Height talking about content-based design systems. TJ's been doing a lot of work in the space of MCPs and design systems, and this should be actually a really interesting talk to listen in on in the event of the future of design systems. I think that's going to be really a big deal. Also another thing to probably mention, let's talk about a whole bunch of different things. We should talk about Design System Awards. Let's see here, awards. Here we go. Whoa, come back. Get back in there. Oh, whatever. We'll just do this. Do it live, right? So the Design System Awards is hosted by Zero Height, and there's a lot of different categories that you could be recognized for if you're in the realm of design systems. I think here are all basically all of them, and you have to go through a process of submitting and a couple of things I've submitted for in here. Wireframe at the moment isn't one of them, and most of the reason of that is because I've been flip-flopping about the format of it. I'm hoping to submit it within the next couple of weeks, because I want to have some actual guests on here to kind of show as a sample. Because it has been, again, just me talking, which I don't like. So I want to submit something that's actually kind of more substantial than just being like, oh, here's a podcast that's out there. So eventually I'll end up submitting that. It's in here somewhere. Where the heck is podcasts? People's Choice. I don't know. It's somewhere in here. Design system categories, or is it more down here? Is that what's going on? Community categories, yeah. So best podcast or webinar series. Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, Wireframe will probably be there eventually. I just have to remember to submit it. I think the deadline for submissions is the 22nd of August, so the 22nd of next month, which is coming up shortly. It's only a couple of weeks now. And then speaking of things that are coming up, let's also talk about Converge, which is actually probably down here in DS Events somewhere. Yeah, here we go. So Converge. So if we go to the Get Tickets thing over here, it's probably, yeah, here we go. So yeah, we have Converge, which is coming up in October, and yours truly, here I am. Here's my big, beautiful face. That's going to be speaking at Converge in October 30th. And I've already submitted the title of the talk, which is going to be called Boxing Creativity. There's a lot of kind of, I guess, puns that are actually in there that you could probably imagine, and probably ones you probably wouldn't even imagine. So I'm actually looking forward to that talk, and I'm still trying to figure out how to do this talk in a way that is interesting, because I don't like slides. I like more organic presentations, but I also did get some feedback about the reason why slides work when done right, let's call it. So I'm taking that into consideration, certainly. I'm trying to, again, piece together what that looks like. But if you haven't bought tickets for Converge already, you should go ahead and do that. It's converge.zeroheight.com to purchase some tickets over there. I believe They're selling out fast because it's going to be a good show. It's going to be a great time. I've never been to Bristol before. I've been to the UK a couple of times, including Converge last year, which was great in Brighton. I think that's right. Yeah, Brighton. So looking forward to seeing Bristol. I do know that it's a little bit far out from London Heathrow, but you know what? It's going to be an adventure. It's going to be great. So looking forward to that. And I think that's basically it. Normally I would talk about things like The Question, Ben Callahan's The Question, but I think he had a little bit of a weird schedule where he had The Question earlier this week as the event for last week. So I don't think anything's going on there. But like I said, I think there's a lot more to prepare for these things, especially, cameras and stuff like that. So let's try that camera one more time. I'm going to unplug and replug. Let's see what happens. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see. All right, so I unplugged it. The unfortunate thing is I can't tell if it comes up on here until I actually take it, and it's still green, folks. Okay, well, whatever. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and see if we can fix that for later. But for right now, thank you so much for joining me and the doll over here, right? And again, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have some real people on here, I think. I already have a couple of people in the queue. But if you want to be on the show, wireframe.fm, love to have you. And I guess I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me.